Okay, so now we are going to talk about the effect of condenser pressure. Earlier we talked about the effect of evaporator pressure. Okay, so now here I have drawn the diagram, pH diagram of this BCRC cycle. The original process is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the original pressure is this, and the in this case the condenser pressure is increased. So now the pressure is this. Let us take it as P2 dash, and this original pressure at P2, and this evaporator pressure as P1. Okay, so after increasing the pressure, the cycle now goes from 1 to 2 dash, then from 2 dash to this 3 dash, and 3 dash to 4 dash. So this is the process after the increase in the condenser pressure. Now some of the observations from here that we can draw are as: first thing is the increase in the pressure ratio. See that P2 dash by P1, P2 dash by P1 is greater than P2 by P1. Why? Because this gap is more than this gap. Okay, the original gap. Okay, so pressure ratio has increased due to the increase in the condenser pressure. And the second point is for the refrigerating effect. What is the refrigerating effect? Refrigerating effect is from 4 to 1. So the in the initial cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, the refrigerating effect, or you can say Q naught, was from here to here. Okay, but Q naught dash has been reduced to this. That means the area under this last process from process 1 to 4 dash. So refrigerating effect, that is H1 minus H4 dash, has been reduced. Okay, refrigerating effect decreases. And third point, that is the compressor work. So compressor work, you can see from here, the earlier the compressor work was only the area up to this point, but now since the pressure has increased, the required work also has increased. Okay, so the power consumption, that is from H2 dash minus H1, is also greater than H2 minus H1. So you can say that power consumption has increased. Power consumption has increased. If we talk about the volumetric efficiency formula, eta V, so in this case also pressure ratio has increased, that is P2 over P1 has increased, so volumetric efficiency will decrease. And this is derived by using the relation eta V 1 minus C P2 over P1 to the power 1 by gamma minus 1. Okay, that we have already read in the last section. Okay, and what about the mass flow rate here? So for the constant refrigerating effect, that means for a fixed refrigerating effect or fixed cooling required, we can see that as the refrigerating effect decreases, that means we need to pass more amount of refrigerant for a particular fixed cooling effect to be attained. Okay, so decrease in the refrigerating effect naturally yields that more refrigerant needs to pass through. So as refrigerating effect decreases, for given refrigerating capacity, for given refrigerating capacity, given refrigerating capacity, what happens? The mass flow rate increases. Okay, and what about COP? COP is nothing but refrigerating effect upon work input. Now since refrigerating effect is decreases and work input has increased, so the COP has overall decreased. Okay, COP has decreased. So now that we have discussed both condenser pressure and evaporator pressure, now let us have a look on both of these. Okay, so it's not possible to have them side by side, I think, but you will see that now you might be able to see this. You can see that the decrease in the evaporator pressure and the increase in the condenser pressure both result in the same observations. Okay, both, that means increase, either we increase the condenser pressure or we decrease the evaporator pressure, both of them results in the decrease in the COP, decrease in the refrigerating effect, increase in the work input, increase in the mass flow rate for a given amount of refrigerant flow. Okay, so this was an analogy over here. You can remember either one of them, and you can apply the same on the other. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the effect of suction vapor superheat. Okay, what is suction vapor? Suction vapor is the vapor that it as the end that is present at the entry of the compressor. Okay, and what is superheating? Superheating is the heating of the vapor above its saturation temperature. Okay, so it is generally advisable in practice because it ensures that the liquid is completely evaporized or vaporized, so before entering the evaporator, before entering the compressor, because in compressor we need to have more mainly the vapor only, because vapor is easily compressed in the compressor. Compressors are not designed for handling the liquid. Okay, so in most refrigeration and air conditioning systems, the degree of superheat serves as a means of actuating and modulating the capacity of the expansion valve. So that's also a favorable thing for us, that the design of expansion valve depends upon this degree of superheat. Okay, now I have drawn the diagram over here. We can see the original cycle was 1 2 3 4, and after increasing the degree of superheat by delta T temperature that I have shown over here, and we know that in pH diagram this constant temperature lines are in the superheat regions are in the form of these arcs. Okay, so here this is temperature T1 and this is the temperature T2 dash. Okay, sorry, T1 dash, T1 dash, and T1 dash is greater than T1. So this is a delta T temperature descent. After that the compression process is over here, and original compression process is over here. Now what we can draw observations with that we can draw from here is, first thing is that B1, that is the specific volume, has increased because specific volume increases in this direction. So V1 dash is greater than B1, that is the specific volume has increased. And the second point, for the refrigerating effect, you can see earlier the refrigerating effect was still here, now it has increased. Okay, so H1 dash minus H4, that is after having the degree of superheat in taken into consideration, the refrigerating effect increases. Okay, this is the refrigerating effect that is increased. What about the specific work? Specific work earlier was this, and now it has become from 1 to 2 dash. Okay, so it has also increased. It may not be means actually inferable from this diagram, but you can remember it. Okay, so the last point is H2 dash minus H1 dash, that is the work input. It is also greater than H2 minus H1, that means it is also greater. And for keeping this in mind, you can see that this line is somewhat flatter. Flatter means somewhat tilted towards this side, whereas this line is somewhat steeper. Okay, somewhat steeper. That means that due to this superheat, this the compression isentropic compression line has not shifted parallelly, but it has also tilted down. So since it has tilted down, that means the area here over here, that has also increased. So this is a way of remembering that the compressor work or the power requirement also increases in this case. Okay, now the net effect of superheating is varies from refrigerant to refrigerant. Actually in the Ewing's constructions we talked about this point also, that for certain refrigerant it actually increases the COP, but for certain refrigerant it decreases the COP. Okay, so you can see that video for seeing looking for which refrigerant it increases and for which it reduces. Okay, so that's all for the discussion on this topic.